Technology has done a big part in terms of penetrating the markets that banks for a long time were unable to do, because it took banks almost 20 years to get to get the total numbers of around, actually the number they give is about 10 million, but there's a big element of double counting of customers between one bank and another bank. So we have about 50 to 80 chamas to be specific, to your point. But I think what is important is that we must think a lot about financial inclusion. And we also have to ask ourselves, what was interesting last year, although it was a COVID year, if you look at the financial statement of all banks, generally the total savings went up. So people have now come to the realization that as a chama or even as individuals, it's very, very important to put some money aside. And I think you've seen the joke that it's not a joke. But in this part of the world, for every 10 shillings people are spending, they would spend 11. So they were always in debt. But I think we've seen that beginning to change. We are seeing the number of chamas increasing, and the chamas also play a bigger part of social support. It's not just the fact that people come together, they are friends, and it becomes an avenue that brings them together, and socially they're able to support each other.
And there's a story that one of my friends keeps telling me about the idea of how do you create wealth both for an individual and economy. So you have this gentleman who lives on an island, and for him to get food, he has to go and jump in a salty water lake, catch a fish that he's able to go eat for the day. So he sits down and starts to wonder about how miserable his life is at that point. So he decides one day that I have to take a risk and think, how do I make my life better? So he goes and takes a branch, sharpens it. For a day, he does not go to fish, so he sleeps hungry. That is the risk that he takes in his life. He does not know if the idea is going to work or not. But for sleeping hungry on that day, the next day he goes, he does not need to jump into the salty water. His eyes don't need to burn. He's able to see the water. He uses the spear, as he now calls it, and catches 2 fish for that day. That's a growth of 100% that has just happened by having what you call a capital tool. So how does that then grow? So it means he can now decide that I'll now go and fish maybe once every 2 days because he has 2 fish, but he can fish every day and have excess, which he can then sell. So what you're trying to build with Malipo is a capital tool, which is a very important part in wealth creation. How do you find things that accelerate the process for you to make wealth? The process for you to start from savings, which is the fish that he was now able to catch and not consume, and then have a tool that enables you to catch more and more fish that you can decide to go and sell. So that's the whole idea of where then Malipo is and how we try to spin the idea of using technology to then be a savings tool that also serves the role of growing your wealth.